After weeks of speculation, Beto O'Rourke made it official Thursday, jumping into the already crowded Democratic presidential field. The former three-term Texas congressman who narrowly lost his Senate challenge to Ted Cruz in 2018, wasting no time getting behind a top progressive priority.
Some will criticize the Green New Deal for being too bold or being unmanageable. But I tell you what, I haven't seen anything better that addresses this singular crisis that we face, a crisis that could, at its worst, lead to extinction.
We're back with Jason Riley, Dan Henninger, and Wall Street Journal editorial board member Alicia Finley. So, Alicia, what's Beto's selling point for Democrats?
Well, he brings this populist aspirational style. He's very uplifting, optimistic. He's young. I mean, he's 46 years old, one of the younger candidates to declare, perhaps the youngest. He's also a political cipher, so it's very difficult to pin him down, which in a general election will be an advantage. But
so the fact is he's not really committed to a lot of specific policies. Is that what you're saying?
That's right. Even if you listen just to that clip, he really hasn't endorsed the Green New Deal. He just basically said, well, I haven't seen anything better. Yeah.
Okay. So but is it so it's a charisma?
Yeah, he's very telegenic. He reminds people a little bit of Barack Obama. And it's that comparison has been made before. He's also been compared to JFK, Jimmy Carter, Bill Clinton. He's very bright and optimistic.
He has kind of a
and it's an emotional appeal. It appeals to the heart, to the gut.
And contrast to what. Who else is running?
Democrats love to fall in love with their candidates.
They do, but Alicia's right. I think he's got an attractive optimism to him. And you contrast that with the sort of dour, angry rhetoric of people like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, and you can see the appeal there. He's also a great fundraiser. He's a master of social media. I mean, he does have a thin resume, but I think he has these other things going for him.
Is there an idea in there somewhere?
I think he's selling himself as more of a pragmatist. As Alicia said, he hasn't really endorsed the Green Deal. He hasn't called for packing the court. He says he's a capitalist.
So the idea is Beto.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not being cynical. I mean, is that what he's selling? He's selling Beto, the aura of Beto.
The aura of Beto, and the aura of Beto, which includes which I think kind of relates to the demographic that he's appealing to. One way or another, there are a lot of people out there, especially in the Democratic Party, who mainly want their candidates to have their heart in the right place. They want to feel good about their ideas. Whether they actually want to accomplish anything or not, that's actually a good question.
So sentiment, I like the Green New Deal because it's the best thing I've heard. That works.
He makes me feel good about feeling good about the Green New Deal.
I'm also not sure he isn't running for vice president, Paul. I could see maybe a Biden O'Rourke ticket if, of course, the identity politics obsessed left would let them get away with it. But they could do a lot worse than a ticket like that.
Well, what about the ability of somebody with that sort of amorphous idealism, Alicia, to hold up against a lot of harder-edged politicians who are going to be saying, wait a minute, are you really endorsing the Green New Deal and this specific policy and that specific policy? You say you're a capitalist, but what does that mean? Are you for higher taxes or not? That sort of thing.
I think that's right. And while in the House minority for 6 years, he really didn't have to take a position on many things. He came out in one case against President Obama's DAPA, which was basically providing work permits to 5 million undocumented immigrants. And he basically criticized the means. And
the fact that he did it through executive order,
exactly,
not the policy
in itself. And I think he's going to be pressed on that. And do you still believe this? Or are you still against these things that you had done or said in the past?
So he could be smoked out in a way during the basically, if he does, he's going to have to commit to something.
I mean, he's been pretty adroit in managing and negotiating around these issues. But on a stage with 7 or 8, in a debate, I think they're going to press him on it.
The other thing I would say, Dan, is electability.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically saying implicitly, I can put Texas in play. He said that explicitly, but also I can beat Trump.
Yeah, and let's talk about electability in terms of the history of the Democrats running for the presidency. Whenever they've run a candidate from the left, George McGovern, Michael Dukakis, Walter Mondale, they have lost. And when they won was when they nominated a Southern governor nobody knew much about at the time, Jimmy Carter or Bill Clinton. And then they ran a more centrist candidate, and they won. Today's Democrats say everything's changed. We can run to the left. We can win by running on these progressive policies. The open question is that true? And is Beto O'Rourke and, let's say, Joe Biden going to try to figure out a way to thread the needle between the leftward drift of the Democratic Party and the reality of the American electorate?
And what do you think?
I think that if they run to the left, they will lose again. I think most voters are uncomfortable with it. I think Donald Trump couldn't be happier if they were to nominate a left-wing candidate.
Quickly, Jason, is Beto in the top tier?
Yes, oh yes. I think based on his fundraising and his ability to generate excitement, yes, definitely.
Okay.